off with the cats. So, Jay Baba, we're here this morning, February 6th, with Etzion Tuesday, and he's going to tell us a few stories. He's gone to take care of his cats at the moment. He'll be back. There we go. Okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess
Rosalie's requesting the Mara story again.
Yeah, I can't hear that enough. That just tickles me. I always found Mara unpredictable. And I love that. She was just so much with Baba. You never knew what she was going to say or yeah.
Mara is a principle of creation, to my understanding. And I can say, if we understand this principle of Mara, we are 99% done.
That's true. That's true.
I'm extremely serious. And what I want to share, another anecdote. You remember I gave her the flute. It was end of 82. I made up some tune, improvised something, and after I finished, it took a few minutes, and then I was holding the instrument, which is a long pipe, on the both edges, and gave it to her. And then, what I remember till now, her expression. Immediately she placed her two hands on this, in the middle. And everybody was shouting with total fear, because this amounts a male touching a male. But Meira knew, she obeyed, most likely she wouldn't do anything without consulting Baba inside herself there and then, and she obeyed me, most likely told her it's okay. Most likely, there's no way Meira will do something. She was such a total focusing and surrenderance to Baba, that to say focusing and surrenderance is, this is not, it's something beyond this. Because if I surrendered, I can quit. I have an option to surrender or not to surrender. If I surrendered all these years and I'm disappointed, and many people are drifting away, by the way. I know. Such an option she didn't have. There was some totality about her. It's something beyond our understanding. Her situation regarding her beloved. It's beyond our understanding. That's this. There was this picture of her. I can see her expression. She didn't look at me. She looked forward, and she was kind of vacant. There was a total surrenderance, and something beyond and above this. That's my inside impression from that time, and it took me years to understand this.
Tell us, Etzion, what she did with the flute. You had your hands. Can you show us what she did? I've seen it.
The flute is, let's say, 80 centimeters, less than a meter, 3 feet, let's say, 3 feet pipe long. Yeah. And I was holding it at the edges. Yeah. It's the very edges. And I gave it to her. I knew that she shouldn't be touched by men. I don't think I read anything about this before. I'm not sure. I knew that she's a totally pure and sacred being, and we males don't belong to such sanctity. We males, you know what are we? We are have all kinds of feelings and passions, and to reach such level of purity, And just imagine her sacrifice to that she was requested to meet men. That was a very big sacrifice on her side.
So Etzion, she put her hands in the middle, yeah, on the flute.
She
Yeah.
placed her hands instantly at the middle, was holding the flute.
Yeah.
She knew that I want some kind of connection, communication with her on the physical realm, and that this what happened. And she understood it, either obeyed Baba's internal voice. She was most obviously totally subservient to his inner call, but we know from experience that many times she didn't know what's going on. She didn't know the Baba is going to drop the body. She didn't know what to do after he dropped the body. There are all kinds of situations with her, and the Baba said she might take her life. And that's okay if she will do it. I think she said something like this. But none of the mandali knew, even till the last moment, and he told them what it's going to be. From he said, I'm preparing with the darshan for March, April, and then I'll be very comfortable. I'll give it reclining. The mandali said, how can you give me, as they understand the hints he was giving them? It's quite amazing, quite amazing. I think I spoke with Lutfi today. We exchanged mails, so she might come.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a big crowd. If she will come, she said, I just exchanged an email with her just now. You know, we are communicating already for many years. I'm as an Israeli guy, and she's a ex-Egyptian. She lives in London now. And as I have told you before, my work has been with sanskaras, and I'm here in Israel, this hub of the Middle East, dealing with heavy sanskaras of the past advents of Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. So Baba instructed me, gave me tutorials how to deal with sanskaras. The reason I initiated all this program or sessions due to the fact that many people in this community disregard Baba's warnings.
You mean Baba?
I'm reading Baba's material online. I did the entire Lord Meher, and there are many warnings. And I'm going, there's lots of material on the Trust website because it's easier for me these days to read in a digital form. So I don't need to live through a book. The letter sort I can magnify it, I can look at it, I can copy it. And now I'm reading the glimpses of Balna 2. And there Baba warns the people again, don't get involved. He was training the mandali concerning criticism, judgment, backbiting, and getting involved with politics. And many of the people in this community, I hope, when people will later on will listen to this recording, don't get involved with all these things. These are lethal, literally dangerous sanskaras. You get involved with it's very, very hard to remove. Only a perfect master can remove them, and we cannot remove it. We get involved with this, we are stuck with it. And this will take us away from the goal, it will take us away from Baba. We play on the edges. There's many people who are long timers, spend time with the mandali, and here and there I send them a kind mail or on the Facebook. You're breaking Baba's orders. So stay away from this. It's not you. It's not our jurisdictions to get involved to fix this world. This is a big mistake of humanity. They're trying to fix things. We cannot fix anything. Only the perfect master and the avatar can fix things. And all what humans are doing in order to fix things, it's only getting worse, and we can see it. This is definitely not our duty, because if it stays centered on Baba, focus our attention on him, this is a rescue of the world. I used to receive lots of criticism and judgment concerning the evil Israelis and the miserable Palestinians, and of course, nobody knows what the truth about this. And women and children, innocent women and children are getting killed. First, if you learn something from Baba, then nobody dies and nobody suffers. That's what they're saying. It's all an illusion. So why do you care? And if what you call so-called women or so-called children die, just because in former lifespans they killed women and children, now they have to pay it back. This crude law of karma, Baba says, the law is just, I'm not going to change it. Then Baba said, I'm not going to change the law of karma. He has a capability of changing it. And he surrenders to the law of karma, and he accepts it on himself, the suffering that he created this world. And he accepted on himself our mistakes and misgiving, refusal to cooperate with the plan, and we created this hell. And he is helping us nevertheless. That's why we call him the Lord of Love. Nobody else in the creation is capable shouldering such a heavy burden. So I hope somebody will pay heed to this. If one person will pay heed and will stay away from all this judgment, criticism, backbiting, politics, pointing fingers at others. As I told you in the session before, Baba in 73, sorry, that was a mosquito. I'm outside in the garden. He told me, you are responsible. You're responsible. All what you see, all the bad things you see, all the wrong things, it is your creation in former lifespans. That's what I was instructed to. But that's the first step for liberation from ignorance. If you don't face these facts, if you don't look at the mirror, we'll stay in bondage. For this, we need to take some responsibility and stop judging. So I learned quite painfully to stop judging and stop criticizing, stop complaining. It is a process. It is a very bad habit, deeply ingrained. You look at the parliaments, go to the court, see how brothers and sisters are bashing each other, sticking rusty nails against each other. It's horrible just to look at it. That's why we should stay away from politics. And I told you, the mayor sent me an order by mail. Don't get involved with politics. In the 80s. She sent me, I think, 8 letters. Mara sent me. Mara sent me 8 letters, I believe. They are on my website. If you enter the website, meirbabaisrael.com, and you search, you go to the English section, of course, and then you lots of material about Gary Ben Shammai, all kinds of works I've done for the community, the 6 volumes of Upasni Maharaj.
What are
the 6 volumes of the books of the talks of Upasni are on my website.
Oh, wow.
Not on the website of the Sakori Ashram. They know that I have done this. And I fix endless errors. They're unbelievable mistakes. The first edition from the 50s, and they never bothered to fix it. I made a new reprint of the talks, a facsimile with all the mistakes, with the missing page, and I told them this, and they don't respond, and they are not communicating. It is a sad story. It's the ashram of a perfect master. They should learn how to run an ashram of a perfect master, but this, as I just said, we shouldn't criticize or judge, we don't know. I don't know. I'm just sharing. That's
Yeah, I'm there, and there's a mistake right on. It says "Hurry, Baba." I'll show you. I don't know how that happened. Here,
you looking at what?
I'm looking at your website. I'll show you. I'll show,
Yes.
and it says "Hurry, Baba." It's a mistake, or maybe I don't think you meant that, right? Do you see?
I don't see.
Hurry, Baba. Let's see. I need to. Oh, the
This is my web designer did it. Now I notice I didn't do it.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to see him this week. I didn't do it. Hari Baba Israel. It should be Meir Baba Israel.
I know.
He's,
Right.
if my web designer is not a Baba Lava, he's a precious person. Here is a.
Oh, here's Luffy.
Hi, hi everyone.
Hi, Luffy. I'm glad you came.
Hello.
We're a small group today. And then here are all the Meribah Mehra letters.
Well, you can open one and look at it.
Okay.
Why don't you?
Page
Read one of them a little bit.
no,
It's always good to start with Meir.
it says this page was not found. Okay, something else to talk to your web designer. Oh wait. Oh, it's yeah, but it's in Hebrew, but that's okay. Let's try
You
another.
can open each one of them and read a little bit.
All right.
Meir, you know.
Oh, beautiful. Ooh, that's nice. Oh,
The handwriting is by Meheru. Meira even didn't write anything.
I, oh,
This is
really?
not a.
She
This is
signed
a
her,
handwriting. Yes.
she signed her name, Mara, down there at the right. That's Mara's handwriting here.
You know her handwriting. She wrote it.
Not all of it. No, it's probably all this is Mara, but this is different. Her name. She signed her name. I think so. I have to look. But this is you're right. This is probably all Meru here.
Yeah, Meheru you wrote her letters.
Yeah. Okay.
These 8 letters show her deep concern. She told me stories of Baba's concern, special concern for Israel. He
Ah,
had a very special concern through Kerry Ben Shammai.
ah.
And, this is the one side of the letter. This is the end of the letter. The other side is presumably before that.
Okay. This. Oh my. Okay. You want to read that?
Read it. You will read it better than I am.
Dear Etzion, we were very happy to know of your visit to England and that you liked Meher Oceanic. Pete Townsend is always very busy, but I had written to Delia about your wish to meet him. You would have liked meeting Don Stevens. Part of the time he is in England and part of the time on the continent near Paris. He has a good way of talking about Baba, and there is a large group of Baba lovers in France. Several came with him this year for Amartithi, January 31st. I am so glad you are not Maud Kennedy. She is such a dear lady and so gentle and full of love. Oh, you met. I am so glad you met Maud Kennedy. She is such a dear lady, so gentle and full of love for beloved Baba. We are glad to know of your desire to start a Baba Center in Jerusalem, prompted by your love for beloved Baba. It is not so easy for new ones to be convinced. By Baba's grace, I hope you contact the ones who are open to his love and able to accept Baba. You must know how I talk to them of Baba and give them Baba literature which appeals to newcomers. Be courageous and persevering with beloved Baba's sweet name in your heart. I hope the Baba Center you plan will be a success. Fortunate will be the ones who come to Baba, the avatar of the age. The world is so much need of his love and help. especially now at this time. Everyone is really sorry to learn of dear Carrie's impaired state of health. We pray it will improve. Carrie is such a dear, brave soul, beloved Baba's soldier. If you see her, convey much love to her from us all. Love to you, dear Etzion, and beloved Baba's love from all your Marazad family. In beloved Baba's infinite love, Mara. This is page, oh, that's PTO? Maybe page turn over, huh?
This is what you opened before. It's just under this.
Right. Oh, I have old Christmas cards from Mara. I never thought to do this. That's a good idea to show them, scan them.
Yeah,
Yeah, put it up. That's good. Oh, yeah. Okay. So more. Lucia, did you meet Mara?
Sorry. No, I didn't. I went to Mehrabad the first time in 2003. So they were no longer.
Right. So, yeah. Rosalie was with Mara very early too. She, what, first time you were in India was in the 70s, Rosalie, right?
In 76.
Right. And what about you, Etzion? When did you go? First time.
79 with Kerry Ben Shammai.
Right. I was later, 87.
That was a story that Meira ordered me to take Baba's darshan.
Oh, why don't you tell that story?
Tell it again, Etzion. Come on, that's like music to my ears. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, you tell it so well. Okay,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
How she went direct to me and she opened the door, rushing straight to me. Why don't you take Baba's darshan?
Etzion, why don't you start earlier though? Tell how you were not sure. You came with Carrie, but you didn't tell us about that. Start it earlier.
Sorry?
You were not. You thought
you were watching people and saying, "What is this? Kissing pillows?" And
you thought it was strange.
Yeah, I told it before.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. First time in my life, I saw people bowing to chairs and pillows, and I didn't understand it. I knew the Meir Baba is an avatar. I knew everything about him, but what's all this story about the chairs and pillows and handkerchiefs and this and that? It looks to me as strange, man.
And then say what happened with Mara.
What happened with Meira?
Well,
the door swung open.
So you were in Baba's room, right? And you were standing back, kind of, right?
No, I was sitting in the corner, just opposite her door, just sitting quietly in my little place and looking around at the people, quite puzzled that all this is strange phenomenon.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the door opened, wide open. She rushed straight. But there were more people in the room. She didn't say. She came out and said, "Are you taking Baba Darshan's people or something like this?" She didn't address everybody. She just went straight to the person who didn't understand what's going on with all this. Quite amazing. Really amazing.
What did she say?
She said, "Why don't you take Baba's darshan?" And I complied right away, of course.
Did you understand her importance?
I knew it before. I knew her spiritual position before in Israel. Presumably, Baba gave me when I told that I had his experience in the Baba room of Kerry. That I looked at his picture and I became Baba realized right away. Instantly, I knew everything.
Wow.
Whatsoever he said over the years about him, I knew at this instant. And most likely at this instant, he gave me, without words, all kinds of things which I was supposed to know later on. For example, when I was working on the discourses, as if I read them before. I had all kinds of strange things like this, and I knew who is Meir, and I knew the role of money in the mandali. And maybe I looked here and there at a few books which Kerry gave me. I got the library only during 1980, after I took Kerry to Meirabat. It was her last trip. So then I started to read the Baba books more intently, more deeply, and started to prepare myself to undertake the serious problem of doing the translation of the discourses, as I told you before, which eventually was accomplished. You saw it last time. Our Michal showed you the books. I have it, of course. Now Mera is wishing that this center will go and flourish, but it never did. Always remained. I remained always inside as if I was staying in a womb. I was not. I was doing public work without doing public work, something like this. Sharing with the public and staying in my corner. I never was people who would never come to my apartment. I was meeting people here and there. After I published the book, little book of Ali, that brought Michal to Baba and others here and there. But I would meet people in their places, like I went to Michal, or later on Michal would come to me, but in my place we would never have Baba meetings. I
What was
was, sorry?
that book? Little Book of Ali? That's
Yes, the
title of-
blue book.
Oh, I didn't know the title about the Prem Ashram boy, Ali. That is
I took it from Sobs and Throbs by Ramju, and
Oh,
I concentrated on the role of Ali. Ali is a little boy. I was very touched by this dedication,
yeah.
his wholehearted connection with Baba, and he was willing, running away 4 times. I think he was walking on his feet from Mumbai all the way to Ahmednagar. Walking all the way, hitchhiking, nothing stopped him. Quite an unusual, incredible person. Yeah, a boy, just a boy in his teens. And he was not willing to let go of his Baba contact.
Yeah.
Quite amazing. Amazing story. And what I did with this little book, I published the book. The first book I translated was Meir Baba on War, because I'm a soldier in the Israeli army and we suffer from the wars all the time. And here Baba gave some explanations about the problem of war and the necessity of war, which sounds to many of us quite strange. He's a Lord of love. He should bring love and peace to the world and not a war. But Baba and Sai Baba conducted some of the worst disasters on earth since the past 10,000 years. And we can see it. The avatar who, to my understanding, took care of the problem of war. War is a human invention because we lost our heredity as sons and daughters of God. And eventually we fell from our spiritual position, became talking animals, as Baba called us. Baba called us talking animals. And we started to prey upon each other and started to kill each other and to eat each other. We used to eat human beings, so we used to eat each other. And here comes a story. It was Krishna and Arjuna. And Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna to kill his own family members. And the strange thing is why Krishna is revealing his godhood to Arjuna in order so he will go ahead and kill people. Why he was not revealing his godhood before the two rival companies and make a peace and love between themselves? Why insisted on the war? Because what happened, to my understanding, this is what I understood while going to wars under Baba's directive. So this is the only way left for humanity to destroy sanskars. Baba speaking about this in the Meher Baba on War in other instances, that when a person, a material person goes to war protecting his country and he dies for the country, then this will push him forward spiritually. And that's all what the Lord cares about, our spiritual progress. And if he have to suffer, because this is our choice to suffer, and then he helps us through war. But this is our decision. And it's very difficult to understand, to look back and realize that we made this decision. We didn't make a decision to progress through war, but since the Lord of love is not willing that we suffer for no spiritual reason. If we created this thing, he wants us, if you suffer, I want to turn this suffering into a spiritual tool. This is the greatness of the avatar. Only as avatar can do such a thing. He's not willing, they will suffer in vain. Nobody suffers in vain. All the people who are suffering, all these wars and all the problems in this world, the endless problems, their sanskars are being reduced. And also what I understood, if they will reach a level of sanskaric contamination of our minds, we cannot enter anymore to the spiritual path. We will not be able to get them. When you look at humanity and see the most of humanity because of their situation, they have no idea whatsoever about the spiritual path, and this is not interesting for them, and they will have to undergo severe suffering in order to purify their soul so they can enter the path. And if you cannot enter the path any longer, there's no excuse for our existence, and the pralaya or mahapralaya will be enacted automatically. This is the law. Such things happen. This is a real disaster. We cannot reincarnate for a very long time. Baba speaks about this, definitely. He says that there is a possibility that the Earth will be shattered during a nuclear holocaust, and we will not be able to reincarnate for a very long time, but they're preparing a new star for us, presumably. He said that 3/4 of it is ready. Who knows? But anyway, we'll have to float in between for a very long time.
What he says in civilization, the creation and its causes, he talks about preparing a new. It's already happening. He's already preparing.
Yes. Yeah. But he said, when we read carefully his statements, he gives us two options. He promised to come again in 700 years, but if the Earth will be shattered, he will come somewhere else. He's not limited. But also, I think that humanity was given on purpose by the spiritual hierarchy, the means for self-destruction. If we got a nuclear power on the, I think the God had sent here special scientists from he speaks about planets with humans with 100% intelligence, and they came here to the planet, like Einstein and Newton and such people who prepared the material age and all these fantastic material achievements. And they gave us the means. If we want to destroy ourselves, we can do it. Who knows what's going to be? I don't know, and I don't care, to be honest. I have work to do, and Baba trained me how to work with sanskars. So I have been working with the sanskars of the people here, or wherever I go. He told me how to do it. You take the person or the circumstance, you envelope it, and you mail it to me. You just give it to me again, every day. And I believe many of us are doing it consciously or not consciously. It doesn't matter. Many of us are doing it because they take his name. When each time we take his name, we do some spiritual work. When we go, for example, I experienced in the Samadhi. I used to go there each year, and each time I would come there with a heavy head loaded with all the headaches of living in the Middle East and the tremendous amount of hate between the people and the endless problems of survival. Then each time I would go there, after 10, 15 minutes in the Samadhi, and everything would evaporate. So I call the Samadhi Sanskaric laundromat. And this also happening in the Mayor Center, in the Lagoon cabin, where Baba was receiving the people. And by the way, Kerry Ben Shammai was instructed by Baba to sleep in the Lagoon cabin. And Jane Highness told me this. And she told me that she was only the only person who ever slept there at all. So you understand, from all these things, Baba's great concern for Israel. Too much evidence in Lord Mayor, and I don't need to read all these things because I know my experience. I know what I had to go through. And there are many people. I used to go to Mehrabad, so I was bringing all these sanskars of both Jews and Israelis. My role is I'm a go-between. I'm between the whole thing. I do his work. I collect all these things and I give it to him. And why to give it to him? He's there. He's everywhere. He cannot do it by himself. So this is what I understood over the years while working. I was asking these questions. You're everywhere. You can handle it. No, he doesn't want to handle it. Not like this. This is our role. He doesn't want to get involved with the personal affair of a person who is not surrendering to him. As long as you don't surrender to him, he's not willing to take personal responsibility on your person, on your life. Till you come willingly and offer it to him. And then he will take care of it. Now here is the whole point. Since I have been connected with endless beings from the beginning of creation, millions and millions and millions. How many times I got married since I became oxygen, and I married hydrogen, and I gave birth to the baby cold water, etc. Just imagine what was going on, all this endless advancement of the souls in between and the endless engagements. So all these beings with whom I have had whatsoever connection, I can work on the sanskars and bring it to Baba. So we can help. This is after many years of work. That it was close to 25, 30 years I was doing this work. And every 10 years or so, he would send me some kind of insight. Some kind of a token of appreciation for perseverance, because I have had to deal with, I'm still dealing with quite frightening sanskars. In the very beginning, I felt I'm dealing with it looked like you're dealing with the demons and devils, and it was extremely complicated and difficult and dangerous. And without his strong hand, since I'm just a human, I wouldn't be able to handle it. What I was doing behind the veil, I have no idea. I was just, after many years, he gave me a hint. You did some work. What does this work? You're not supposed to know. You just walk. A pen writes a book. A pen doesn't know what's the context of the book. A pen doesn't read a book. A pen is a pen. It's working. I'm just a pen in his hand. That's all. I don't need to know everything. Here and there, I get insight. So here and there, I was asking a question, and usually don't get an answer because what's the rest of ask questions? You have work to do. For example, once I asked him, why did you do this thing? What is the thing? That he got himself crucified. So I told him, you are not obliged to do this. You could let it go, and as the world would go away, all of us would be evaporated. So what? Such things happen. Why did you do it? Why should you do this? And each time I asked him the same, what would I say? I would say the Sai Baba. In my vision, all of a sudden, the Sai would come before me. Not externally, in my mental imagination. I would think, each time I ask this, each time the image of Sai came in my mental imagination. And after a few months, I have realized, if you won't do this thing, Sai Baba and all the masters and the saints won't be, there won't be a world, they won't be able to accomplish the path. So the cosmos is very much so enriched by all these perfect masters and saints and divine beings. And if you won't do it, there won't be. So this is what happened. That's why he did it. And as Baba said in his glimpses, it was my humor that I got myself crucified. It's due to my sense of humor. Go and understand such a being. That is entertaining to get crucified. And each time we have a little scratch in our finger, we cry to God for it. Anything special you want to share?
Etzion, what about those evil spirits? What happens to them?
They would eventually disappear. They were like as if I was feeling and seeing ugly things. They will look demonic in my imagination, but you see, it's inside your mind. It's very disturbing. And Baba's presence at that time was actually often physical. Not I saw him externally, but his presence was very obvious because his situation, circumstance was extremely, it was not humane. Human being cannot deal with such things. Only under his direct supervision. It was as bad. So I had to deal with all kinds of terrible sanskars that we have been doing to each other. Something in the storage. At that time, I was identifying with this thing. I thought it's something which I have been doing. I've done in the past. I was an evil entity by myself, and I got the grace of the avatar who decided to save me from my own ignorance, which might be a possibility because I don't know the truth about the past. I have no idea what I have been in the past. If I was, who knows, some criminal in the past, maybe not necessarily a saint. Some people are moving from the extreme opposites. And they asked him, I wanted at a certain point in the 70s to ask him, I want to know the truth. It doesn't matter if I'm the reincarnation of Hitler. I want to know the truth. I was dealing with all these terrible sanskars. I told him I want to know the truth. in the few years, in a way, he didn't tell me what. He never did. He never did tells me things as we speak. It's not working like this. But only I enter a cycle. The cycle can take months or years and decades. And after you accomplish the cycle, then you start to have some understanding. So what I understood eventually is that I had to deal with all kinds of difficult things. It was my duty, and this duty came because I told you in the first session that I wanted to take. First, I realized that I have to worry about 1 gram of my own responsibility in comparison to the giant avatar who was holding infinite weight on his shoulders, holding the whole universe. And here's just little me with this 1 gram of responsibility. I hardly can handle this, and decided that it's very important that I will handle my own little responsibility, so I will not be a burden on him. So at least 1 gram less on his back. Just imagine each human being on earth will think, I should remove 1 gram from the back of the Lord, the whole world will be transformed in an instant. Just 1 gram, it's not heavy. And then I decided I will start to remove from him a little bit. And then presumably this is what happens. He started to do this work of doing all kinds of eliminating sanskaras. Because he is not in the body, he is not in the world, and I'm just a guy. I'm not an advanced soul. I have to emphasize all the time because I do, for example, don't know anything about you, don't know your karma, don't know what you have done, don't know what's going to be, I don't know what will happen next moment. And I'm not interested with this, all this. It never was in my mind, spiritual advancement. Look to me when you stand face to face with the avatar. This is like playing with toys in the kindergarten. Many people in our community, he's a singer on the planes, he's not on the planes, and this, I read all kinds of letters of Baba lovers, and they're arguing who is the 6th plane, who is the 7th plane. You can see it in the glimpses. The Balnatu was wondering about and others about the spiritual state of the mandali, who is on the planes. And the mandali didn't know that they're on the planes. They were not concerned about this. And one of the people said that Gustaji must to be a 6th plane master. So he asked him, so Balnatu asked Gustaji, are you a 6th plane master? And Gustaji said, of course I am. And then he looked at him again and he gave him like a twinkle that it's total nonsense, forget all this. And Gustaji, during Baba's training, he didn't sleep for 3 years. Try not to sleep for 3 days. 3 years he didn't sleep at all. During the night, he was taking care of Baba Chan. He had a night duty with Baba Chan. Gustaji served Sai Baba, Upasni. Upasni sent him to Meher Baba, and Meher Baba ordered him to do a night watch with Baba Chan. During the day, he was working with Baba in his shop or something like this. So for 3 years, he didn't sleep at all. And he was keeping it's not human, these things beyond us. And he brushed off the idea about him being a 6th plane master. They were just servants of the Lord. They serve the Lord. All these things, also to me, I never made any point about all this. The only thing I can say about spiritual planes that the less sanskaras you have in your mind, the mind is getting clearer and clearer. Then you supposedly what it is that you can render better service if your vision is clear. What you're doing is getting you can receive better results. The service for the world is better. It is just capabilities of rendering service. That's all what I say about all these spiritual planes. That's I personally. It's not on my mind at all. I think it's true, but I would say it's also this is the realm of imagination. So why should we deal with all this? And again, I said in the beginning that before we started at 7, that I initiated these sessions because of my deep concern about many people in the community who are getting engaged with criticism and judgment and politics and pointing fingers and complaining and all the bad people and was the only thing which they achieve that they will lose the benefits of this advent, and these benefits are extraordinary. And I told a few people in person, I sent them emails and stay away, and they told me I was having the time with Eruch, but we know what we are doing. We cannot stay aloof and the children are dying. So what if the children are dying? If adults are dying, it's okay, and the children are dying, it's not okay. What's the deal? What do you know what is good and bad? How can we tell? It's none of our business. And Baba said, if a person comes here, yes?
Sorry, you mean this community. You're talking about other Baba lovers
I'm talking about the Baba lovers.
worldwide, not just Israel, but all around. Is that what you're?
All around, yes.
And do they talk to you because you're Israelis? You feel it more?
Because I used to be attacked in Merabad because I'm an Israeli, the bad Israeli who are harassing the poor Arabs. The truth is, the Arabs started the war. The Arabs in 47 rejected the two-state solution, etc., etc. I can get into this. This is not politics because politics is getting involved with all these power games, which I have nothing to do with. It's just a history. And most people have no idea about the history of the situation. They just see the circumstance. You see that the people are suffering, and there is a war, and the Israelis have the upper hand for whatever reason. It is because my humble understanding is that the Baba wished a wish that I need to find a place for the wandering people or the Jews or something like this. So, if you have noticed from the very beginning, from 47, 48, each time there is a superpower who backs Israel. It started with Stalin, moved to Britain and France, and then United States. And who knows what is behind the veil? The veil. What is so important about this Israel? Jews can live wherever they can live. But many years ago, it was in the old PC. I stayed there and I met in the bathroom one person who was a member of a Baba family. People, we have a Baba families who were with Baba from the 30s, 40s, from the beginning. And he told me something like this, that Baba said, it's presumably off the record, that the backbone of Islam has to be broken.
Oh,
But it's not in this is what he told me in person, that Baba said it, but it's not in the record. Also, Meir told me things Baba said, which is not on the record. It's not in Lord Mayor and other places. In Lord Mayor, for example, we have 200 pages for each year. Just imagine how many pages if you would write on Baba each day, would be 200 pages a day to have the full spectrum of his activity, what's going on. And in Lord Mayor, it's about 200 pages a year. Just a few pages for each month. Very little of what really was going on. So many things Baba did and say which are not in the record. Most likely. They couldn't cope. They were very busy. Some kept diaries, like Ramju and Chanji, and Adike and others. But it was always spontaneous. Sometimes Baba told them to write the account of the day, and sometimes they did it because they did it. And
Well, you know, for centuries, Islam was, there's much beauty in that culture. You know that.
Of course, I know. I got deeply involved with Arabism, if I could call this. And I'm going to tell you an Arabic story. I have plenty of Arabic stories. I can make a session just with my Arabic experiences, because I have been sharing with the Arabic population for many years. The problem with this advent, like many others, it never worked from the day one. Like the mission of Moses never succeeded. You know the story of the golden calf. Moses is going up to the mountain to bring the Ten Commandments, the Torah, and the people started to celebrate and have orgies. They made orgies, made sacrifices, made the golden calf, and God from the mountain tells Moses, you people went astray, they violated the whole thing. So we had a chance to, at that time, they just had to wait one day, the people. Not to do anything in spirituality is the hardest thing. To wait and do nothing. They were ordered, they have food, they got all what they needed, was being poured from heaven, all kinds of dishes. They just had to collect it and eat it and cook it and do with it whatever you want. They would get some kind of bread, the manna, and they got fowl, some kind of a bird.
You mean wait while Moses went up to the mountain? You mean, is that what you mean? They had to wait while he went?
Yes, they had to wait 40 days till Moses came down. And he went alone. And his servant Joshua was waiting at the bottom of the hill. And Moses didn't eat and drink and sleep for 40 days. He was convening with the Avatar. I think he was convening with Lord Abraham, who initiated the cycle, Avatar. And together they were writing the Torah. Anyway, a six-plane master like Moses knows how to write the Torah. But they were working together and preparing the most unusual musical script that we humans will learn to sing and become one again, like a musical band. And the Torah which we got is the default. This is what I was writing with my explanations on the Torah. I got, while I was working, I think I told you before that I did some work on the explaining the Torah under Baba's insights which he gave me in Merabad, etc. And one of these insights that the first Torah, which supposedly Moses broke the tablets, we actually broke the tablets. It was a manuscript, musical manuscript, actually. Well, we can go on this, can make a Bible session.
What do you mean we broke the tablets and not Moses?
What's happening with a master? When a master does something, it's like a mirror. If Moses broke the tablets, we broke the tablets. I can bring more such examples. In the Torah, if you look at it, turn it backwards, as if you look at what happened in a mirror, you see a totally different perspective. We can get into it, but for this we have to make a bubble class. Or get into it for 10, 15 minutes. I don't mind, it's fun. It shows deep layers in the scriptures which are not shown externally. It's a book of, as I said before, the first book of Genesis is a book of states of consciousness, creation of states of consciousness. The second book, Exodus, is a book of initiation. All the stories of the way an aspirant experience on the path till he reaches God realization, which meant to be the promised land is actually the state of God realization. It's all symbolic. It's all deep symbolism. Tell you a little story about Arabs. I like Arabic stories. I have plenty of them. During the 80s, I started to work with the Arab. I used to be a contractor. I do. I do construction till now, even now. I like to do this. I like to build things. I like to fix things. I do all kinds of complicated things. There should be a link to my website, or I can. My website is professional website is etzwood.com. It is ZWOOD etzwood.com, and you can see my work, what I have been doing, if you are interested. And I needed used to hire people. If you hire people, they're usually Arabs from the. I worked for many years in the what you call the territories, in the mainly Etzion block. We have a region by the name of Etzion. My name also. And I was working there for many years, 15 years, and I used to hire workers from the neighboring Arabic villages. And I was hiring people also from East Jerusalem and other places. And altogether, by the end of the day, I would take them home, or in the morning, I would come to their house and take them to work. And you come in the morning, and then we have the Arabic house, and we have tea or coffee with cookies or something. They have a chat, and they taught me Arabic, common Arabic. Arabi Mukawali. This is the Arabic of the contractors. So they will know how to talk to their workers, because the Arabs in the territories don't speak much Hebrew. Some do. In Israel, they speak very well Hebrew. But of course, I've had many encounters with Israeli Arabs, etc. So this story started in the 80s. I was doing wooden banisters. And the spindles, or the balustrades, I used to order from a wood turner in East Jerusalem, in the East City, in the old city of Jerusalem. You know, we have the East Jerusalem and we have the city of David. It's 1 square kilometer, more or less, of between the walls of Jerusalem. If you know more or less, you can look at the type Old Jerusalem, you will see the borders of it. And there was a wood turner, and he used to make me the spindles from wood, and I would assemble it. And from time to time, he or his brother or somebody else from the family would come to work for me on the project sites, because I needed personnel. And this family was a very very distinguished family in East Jerusalem in the Arabic sector. We have a few families, Hamula, as we call it in Arabic, some kind of familial tribe. And that's the way it goes in this Arabic sector. With the Jews, we used to be like this, but now it's all broken to individual. We became completely individualized, and we don't have this familial groups so strong as before. Because you have a government which is supposed to protect you, and all kinds of institutions which you can approach. So you don't need so much the family when you in such a situation, a large family. When you're getting old, the family is taking care of you. You don't go to home, something. You stay at home. You're being looked after if you pass away. One day, I came to this family to take one of his sons to work, and the father, Hajj, we used to call him Hajj. Hajj is a person who made a pilgrimage to Mecca. It's ordained by the Quran that at least once in your lifetime you have to make a pilgrimage to Mecca. Mecca, you say Mecca in Arabic. He looked at me one day in the morning and he said, "He's not my son, he's your son." So this is a very high statement that the father, it is not to be, shows my, the way Baba trained me to deal with human beings. Because I was not like this before.
You were what? Or what did you say? You were...
I said, he gave me a very high compliment that I'm dealing with his son better than he deals with his son. That I am actually, the son is, his son is my son. Can you believe this? It's such a high compliment. It just tells you my relations with the community under Baba's directives. It's all under him, everything. Everything. Because before that, before I came to Baba, it was 72. We in Israel, we never taught to hate Arabs. Even we knew their enemies. We heard them shouting and screaming at us in the media, in the news. It was usually the radio or the newsreels. We used to go to the movies, and before the movies, there was a newsreel from abroad, all over the world, like a few minutes, because we didn't have TV, and talking about the 50s and 60s. And then not once, we would see the Arab mobs dancing in the streets, agitating against Israel, this big enemy of the poor Arabs. Just look at the territories Arabs, just the Arabs have, not Islam. It's from Morocco all the way till the Gulf. Iran is not an Arabic country. It's a Muslim country. It's a kind of a different division of Islam. I don't need to get into all these things. But Israel is 0.5% of the Arabic territories, and the Israelis came here in the beginning more than 100 years ago, 140 years ago, 150 years ago. And they were buying land whenever it was possible. Nobody did anything, nobody took anything against the law. Nobody could do it until 1917. The land of Israel was under the Ottoman or the Turkish Empire, and then the British, and they didn't favor anyone. You couldn't go ahead and grab land, steal something from somebody. Couldn't do anything against the law. You had to buy it. Or there was no other way. So all these allegations that Jews came here by force and grabbed the land from the poor Arabs and kicked them away, this is all a lie. Don't believe all this propaganda. And many people in this community believe it because the Arabic propaganda is very good. I must admit it. And the Israelis were very poor. They don't know how to tell the truth. The truth is the Jews or the Israelis, 47, agreed to the two-state solution by the United Nations Resolution 181. All the Arabic countries voted against. And what does it want? They gave an ultimatum to Israel. If you declare independence, we'll start a war of annihilation against you. We'll destroy everything. Against whom they're complaining? The Jews or the Israelis were willing to accept anything, whatever, just give a small little thing. They're being persecuted for thousands of years. Give us a break. So the Arab complained. It was not on their expense. Nobody took a cent from the Arabs till 1946. You can trust what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. And they also in the early 80s, I was working in a settlement, what you call a settlement, in the Etzion block, and my workers came from the nearby refugee camp, supposedly refugee camp. They lost their homes during the 1948 war, and the Jordanian authorities gave them some land they can build their houses, but they were being regarded as refugees. Just imagine you are an Arab and you still a refugee on Arabic land. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Tell me.
How can you be an Arab refugee on Arabic land in Jordan, in Syria, in Lebanon? You have Palestinian refugees living there, and the Arabs living as refugees on Arabic land. They don't accept them as citizens. How come? They are brothers and sisters. It's very strange. And at that time, unfortunately, due to this war, million Arabic Jews, as you can call them, Jews from the Arabic countries were expelled, and all their possessions were seized. 4 times the properties were 4 times the size of Israel, and of course they never got anything in return. About what they are complaining, I don't understand. Everything can be settled by money and goodwill, but they're not willing to do it. That's why the cause of this war now is recently. But it has much deeper meanings than what I'm saying on the surface. In the early 80s, I had, for how long, by the way, you want to continue? Because you wanted an hour or so.
About an hour. Maybe you could wind it up soon. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell this little story, and if you want to ask questions or comment something.
Okay.
So I had people from a nearby refugee camp from that Jewish settlement, and they would come to the place every morning by themselves. In the evening, I would drive them back home. And when you come to an Arabic house, it is customary and an obligation to have a dinner together.
A meal.
A meal, yes. We were eating together, dining together. His wife was a fantastic cook, and she would bring this huge dish, huge round sachet, dish full of, there is a pyramid of rice and chicken and all kinds of goodies. And you eat it like this. You take it with a pita bread, and you eat it. Lutfi knows very well what it is.
Now, these are friends. Did you know them? Were you acquainted? I mean, to be invited in for a meal, if you didn't, that's.
No, they were my workers.
Yeah, I
They were
see.
working, they were my workers. They worked for me all day. And by the end of the day, I drove them home. And when I drove them home, then I was invited for a meal, to eat dinner with them. So this was almost every evening. So almost every evening, morning, evening for 20 years. This way, I was visiting Arabic homes, sitting with them, eating with them, dining with them, having tea and coffee. They invited me for their weddings, all kinds of such situations. And this particular place, this is a refugee camp. And not once I didn't have a car, and I would take a taxi cab which goes from Jerusalem to Hebron, and I would get off the entrance of that camp, and I would walk inside. And in the entrance of the camp, there was a position of the Israeli military guarding the entrance. They were sitting on the roof, and they were shouting at me, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to have coffee." And I had to walk, let's say, about 400 meters till I would get to the house of my worker. Why I was going there? Because my storage was in his his home. I had empty garage. In his empty garage, we made the storage for our business because he was working for me for quite a while, and I helped him to build another story for his building, etc. So on the way I was walking, I had to drink 3 times coffee. People would go out and see me walking. Please come inside and have coffee with us. من فضلك ادخل اشرب قهوة معنا.
What is
With
that?
some taste of Arabic. So I was talking Arabic all the time with from morning till evening with the people. They were teaching me Arabic, common Arabic, but I would be able to speak on politics, world affairs, everything. And I still can do it. Even I don't speak every day, but here and there, when I have the chance to speak Arabic, then it comes back. But it's still a common Arabic. This is not Arabic Fusha, Arabic, High Arabic. And then one day we were sitting together, and I said, let us make peace.
Uh-huh.
I made a simulation. Shall we make peace? He said, fine. I want to make peace. I want my village back. I want to go back to my village. So I told him, I don't think you will go back to your village, but I'm willing to compensate you. How much do you want? I don't want any money. I want to go back to my village. I told him, how about $100,000? I'm talking about early 80s. Let's say $250,000 today. I want my village back. And I knew what village he had. I told him, all what you had there is a tin shed, a miserable tin shed with no running water, with no electricity. You had nothing. You lived in a gutter, and I want to give you a villa. I want to give you just say what you want. I'll give you everything. It's cheaper than more. I reached after $1 million, and he didn't agree. And one day, all this in Arabic. We were conducting all this in Arabic. And I'm a refugee. I'm a refugee. My parents ran away at the last moment from East Europe. If they would have stayed there for a few more years, they would be exterminated. Our whole family was exterminated. I was gone without any grandfather, without any family. We had no one. We were totally alone in the world. And I was in and out of this particular camp for a couple of years, I believe, maybe more. And one day, they were under the supervision of the United Nations. They are refugees. As a refugee, you have it's not a passport, but they call it a laissez-passer. You are some kind of world protector citizen by the United Nations. That's the best, one of the best status you can have in the world. You're a protected citizen. Wherever you go, they have to let you in. And one day, and they would get rations from the United Nations, like sacks of sugar and rice, and the free education, and they didn't have a municipality, and they didn't pay taxes. It was free for all. And they were doing whatever they wanted. They could build a house without permit. Nobody would talk to them. One day I said, you actually never want to get out of this. You all of us want to stay as refugees. I said, of course. The whole thing is a sham. The whole thing is a bluff, you know. The whole thing is a lie. The purpose of UNRWA, for example, in Gaza Strip, is to rehabilitate the refugees, to resettle them so they stop being refugees. After World War II, there were 130 million refugees in the world. In the whole world. So what's the problem about 500,000 people? And all of them are rehabilitated by the nations. What's wrong with all these people? What's the problem solving this problem? Just with money. Give each person, we build him, the cost of this war would make each Palestinian in Gaza a multi-millionaire. Each family would get a few millions of dollars, and this is the cost of this stupid war. What are they going to gain? Nothing. more suffering, more misery. Very sad. Very sad. This is humanity. We are not such a clever Homo sapiens, the clever species. We are Homo idiotus, I call them. Anyway, we are Baba lovers. We keep on sticking to him, come what may. The fact that we focus on him is a salvation of humanity. We focus on him, only on him. I'm very serious about this. The people who focus on the Baba and the Lord and the perfect masters, whatever you call it, each one who is sincere and he doesn't get involved with backbiting, criticizing, judgment, politics, opens, gives a justification for the ongoing process of humanity. It is as serious as it is. And it's not such a heavy thing to do. What's so difficult about it? Just to mind our own business, to do the good things we know how to do, and leave the troubles of the world alone.
Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up. A good way to, all right. Do you have any last thoughts, or this is good? That's good to hear you say that. Yeah.
I agree with you, Etzion.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for your story. It sheds light. It shows we don't, we're not there. You're there. You are there. I understand. Thank you for
I can get deeper to, I made a list of all kinds of things, and I touched just a few, and we have materials for many sessions if so you wish. It's up to you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna see you next week. Yeah, there'll be more people here because you'll be advertised. I'm sorry. You didn't.
That's okay.
Etzion,
I
can I
totally
ask the last question just before we
Yes,
leave?
yes, please.
If you don't mind, Betty, very quickly.
No, you
Yes,
go.
go ahead.
I
I
want
was
to.
just wondering,
I want to hear from you, Lucia. Yeah.
thank you. I was just wondering whether, the circles that are mentioned, that Baba talked about,
Yes.
whether that's any echo of the Moses circles,
We spoke about the.
or if
Excuse
you
me.
want to talk about it next time.
I can
Up to
briefly
you.
say the crucial importance of the spiritual circles. Baba spoke about this in the discourses and God speaks. And
Yes,
this is extremely important for us to understand the purpose and nature of spiritual circles. And this our role has been to re-establish them. Baba was working very hard with the mandali on this. And it was the main mission of Master Moses and the whole creation of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is, a spiritual circle comprises of 12 individuals. And here they were trying to establish a spiritual circle on a international scale, a whole nation. And don't forget that against the 12 tribes of Israel, there were the 12 tribes of Ishmael. Ishmael, the father of the Arab nations. The two sons of Abraham were supposed to create two bodies, two spiritual circles working together in order to heal humanity. This is a whole story we can deal with in depth, can go deeply into it. It's a crucial story to understand. We had a chance to heal humanity more than 3,000 years ago, and We dropped it. Unfortunately, very few people were with Moses. Most of the people were against him. And we bear the circumstances. With this, what we have done, we were there in physical or mental or spiritual. We don't need to be there individually, but potentially all of us were there. Like potentially all of us represented by the 12 disciples of Jesus. He doesn't need to take 10 billion people with him, enough 12 people who 12 representatives of humanity. So all of us were there in the crucifixion, all of us participated. Jesus, Yeshua was crucified because of the mandali, not because of the Jews and the Romans. Because we, the spiritual people, didn't stand with it. This what happened. We have to face it. We have to look at it. And when we face it and we look at it, we stop pointing fingers and judging others.
So it's the same story continuing, one avatar after the other,
Yes. He comes again and again. He and the perfect masters and the great masters, all the time, each one is a circle, they're walking with a circle. Sorry. The circle is a representative of the 12 main characteristics of the human mental panorama. The 12 main psychic mental components of the body of humanity, if you can call it. We can get into it deeper. It's a whole big deal by itself. It's a very interesting topic.
Let's do that.
Would good
Yes.
to know. You see, we have endless. I can see we have endless topics to discuss for the next 50 years.
All right. Okay, thank you, Lupia. We'll maybe next time, yeah?
You can bring up your ideas, what you want to discuss.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
Can come up, people can, and I don't mind at all if people come speak harsh. I accept it. I have no problem. I used to receive it many times, and I learned how to deal with this with compassion and patience, without getting angry or mad or trying to explain. Usually what I used to do in Merabad, I would walk away. I would try to stay away, not to hurt the person, because if I would say something bad to him, he might get hurt spiritually. Definitely would get hurt emotionally. People understand they're either naive or ignorant, they don't know. So we have to accept it and forgive it. It's part of Baba's works that we have to learn to accept everything and be kind and forgiving. So if somebody will come to this session, they will start to complain and abuse the Israelis, the bad Israelis, what they're doing, and then I can address it. I can tell the story, explain it. And I wrote actually an article about this. I sent it to Betty on the Jews and the Israelis. And some people who complain about Israel, I sent it to them, and it didn't change their attitude. So what I'm supposed to do about it? It's a very reliable, professional article, which each person who is interested to know what's going on with Islam and Judaism should read it, based on the facts and what I learned from the top experts in Israel. We have real good top experts in Israel concerning Arabism and Islam in a positive way. Positive. There are many good things, of course, concerning Islam and Arabism, but all kinds of vile people took over Islam, unfortunately. It happens. It happens to Christianity, it happens to other systems. So we can address these problems and unfold it as we told you, as I am unfolding a sanskara and give it to Baba so Baba can walk on it. I can show you this walk of walking sanskara, how practical it is, and it's walking. Things happen. Things happen when you walk. I have witnessed things. It's not idle walk. It's
All right.
scientific. Okay.
Well, thank you, Lupier, for bringing it up, and we'll, yeah, maybe next week we'll.
Yeah, it would be very interesting.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
We say
Okay.
to bring it back to Baba 3 times. Avatar, oops, Mayor Baba.
Yeah,
Yeah, Baba
okay.
ki jai, Kar mein Baba ki jai, Kar mein Baba.
Yeah.
And Jai mein, and Jai Mera.
Amen.
Baba.
Baba and Jai Mera.
All right, thank you, Etzion. Until next
Thank
week.
you.
Lucia,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Bye.
All
Bye
righty.
bye.
Bye
Okay.
all. Thank you.
Okay, Baba.
Baba.